Welcome back to Greek class, New Testament Greek class. We're in James Efford's book, A Grammar for New Testament Greek, and we're on lesson 2. We're going to begin today talking about verbs. Verbs both in Greek and in English and in most other Western languages, there are various aspects, changes to each verb. And so, in English we can say, I eat lunch today. Yesterday I ate lunch. Tomorrow I will eat lunch. And we can see that, this is present tense. Tells me the time, that this is today, this is yesterday, this is tomorrow. So one thing is tense. We're all very familiar with that. But we need to become more familiar with verbs and how they work. And so in telling me, writing for your teacher, everything you know about a verb is called parsing it, to parse a verb. And so we need to know all those different things we can say about a verb. And here they are. Verbs in Greek have moods. The moods are things like the indicative mood, which tells facts. And that's where we're going to start today, with the indicative mood. So you just say, I eat lunch today. Today I'm going to eat lunch. I'm just stating a fact. That's the indicative mood. We'll also deal today with the infinitive mood, which is the pure idea of the verb. So in English we use the word to for that. To eat. Just the notion of eating. To eat lunch is a delight. Okay. Those are the two moods we're going to work with today. We'll get to others as time goes on, but all you need to know really for today is that we're dealing with the indicative for almost all our verb forms, but we will learn one infinitive form. So much for moods. For tenses, just like in English, just what you would expect. There's a present and a future and so forth. Today we're going to work with the present tense. First we're going to work with the indicative. Then we're going to work, the voice of a verb is either active, I eat lunch, or passive, lunch was eaten by me. But we'll deal with that some more when we get to our passive verb forms. The person is first, second, or third. First person is the speaker, so I or we in the plural. Second person refers to the person next to you, so you, or in the plural, y'all. And third person is he, she, or it in the singular, or they in the plural. And then obviously I've kind of given away a number, haven't I? Singular or plural. Classical Greek also has a dual form, a rarely used dual form, used mainly in the Homeric period. But we're not going to let that detain us in New Testament Greek, and in fact it's very, very rarely used outside of those epic poems. All right, so here's our first verb form, the present indicative active conjugation of our paradigm verb, leo. That's how that should be pronounced. You'll often hear me just say luo, leo, that Greek U sound at the front of your mouth, but we're not going to let pronunciation detain us too much because we don't really know too terribly well how they pronounced it. In modern Greek, this would be pronounced leo. That upsilon just kind of goes to a I sound. Okay. So, this word means loose, to free, untie, to loose. So, Leo is first person singular, so that's I loose. Second person singular, you loose. Third person, he looses or she looses. Plural, first person plural, we loose. Second person plural, y'all loose. Third person plural, they loose. And notice there's this is called the movable nu. This is just like in English how we say a dog, but we say an apple. We put this movable in. We put this in only on words when the next word begins with a vowel. So that's why that nu is there in parentheses. So these are the endings for the present indicative active. So if I look at just the endings, O, eis, a, amen, eta, usen. So let's just call this kind of a u sound here. So luo, lues, lue, luamen, lueta, luusen. Or if you want to do that better Greek u sound, lio, lies, lie, liamen, lieta, liusen. I always feel silly trying to say that. So you should make, and then the infinitive, which just means to loose, liein, luain, liein, however you want to say it. Liein, to loose. So you want to make a flashcard that looks exactly like this. And you want to study that flashcard every day until you can reproduce this flashcard on a blank sheet of paper. Or until the point that if your mom comes in and shakes you awake at 2 o'clock in the morning and says, give me the present indicative active conjugation of Leo, you can say, Leo, lies, lie, liamen, liete, liusi. And the infinitive is liein. You need to know it that well. There is no substitute for that kind of serious memorization. No substitute. You will fail in Greek or in Latin if you do not memorize these endings that well. So I recommend that you learn them and learn to write them, both with the stem, and also you just learn the endings, o, eis, a, amen, eta, usen, leo, lies, lie, liamen, lieta, liusen, liein. Okay. And then the so the accent, let's talk about the accent on the bottom of page 8. The rule of verb accent is very easy. The accent on the verb is recessive. It seeks to go back into the word as far as possible, away from the ultima. Therefore, if the ultima is long, the accent will fall on the penult. If the ultima is short, the accent must fall on the antepenult. So it's very, very simple. If the last syllable is long, omega is a long vowel, the accent goes from the, you're going to count back 2. 1 for the ultima, 2 for the penult, 2 for the penult, and that's where the accent's going to go. On the other hand, here the penult is short. Epsilon is a short vowel. So now we count back 3. 1, 2, 2, and 3. So then the accent ends up on the antepenult. Piece of cake. Piece of cake. Okay. Now let's take a look at the translation exercise. Rather, first we should look at the vocabulary on page 10. So I'll read it for you. Ago is I lead. And I like to list it as I lead. The word ago literally means I lead. It doesn't just mean lead. It means I lead. That's a present indicative active first person singular. Right? So if we're going to parse luo, that's present indicative active. That's my tense, my mood, my voice, and then my person is first person, my number is singular. You are going to be parsing thousands and thousands of verbs. Get used to it. Know what these words mean. Mood, tense, voice, person, number. Right now, you're only working with the present indicative active. So the first ones are pretty easy. Mood, indicative, tense, present, voice, active. You're going to be working with just that for a while. And then you've got to figure out the person. Is it first, second, or third person? And is it singular or plural? Okay. So, back to the vocabulary. Ago is I lead. Akuo, I hear, like acoustics. Blepo is I see. Gnosko is I know. Heurisko is I find. Heurisko. Echo is I have or I hold. Thelo is I wish, I desire. Lambano, I receive or I take. Lego, I say or I speak. Leo, to loose, I loose. mello, I am about to. And pisteo, I believe. Pisteo heis hinetheon, I believe in one God, the Father Almighty, etc. And a conjunction here, kai. Here's how I would like you to make your vocabulary flashcards. Use a 3x5 flashcard, and then I highly recommend that you don't just put one word on a flashcard, or you'll never use them that way. Your stack of flashcards will be too huge. I recommend that you use 18 or 20 on a card, on a 3x5 flashcard. So that would be the front, and then obviously the rest of these lines would be filled in. And then on the back, and then you can put a little, to keep track, you can put a little 1 there, and then on the front, I have a little. I didn't put the numbers in here. A little 1 there, and then likewise, after a kuo, you'd have a 2. So on the back, you could keep everything straight. But this is a very efficient way. You'll have a smaller stack of cards, and then you need to study these cards every day. And what I recommend is you should study your flashcards. And you'll have flashcards for both the verb forms. As I said, you should have a flashcard that looks just like this. Study both your verb form flashcards, and we'll have eventually noun form flashcards and vocabulary flashcards. Study them every day and for 20 minutes. And I really mean just study these for 20 minutes. Don't do it while you watch TV. Sit down in a quiet place and study these cards for 20 minutes. And then eventually, by the time you get to next week, you'll know all the words on this card. Then you put that card in a pile that you just review once a week. And then eventually, as we move, into Greek 2, you won't even have to look at your flashcards from chapter 2 already. We'll be in chapter 8, 9, 10, 11. You'll have these down pat. But you need to spend that time every day. Again, there is no substitute. You must memorize your forms and your vocabulary. No substitute. Set aside 20 minutes a day. Take Sundays off. It's the Lord's Day. But for the rest, 20 minutes a day at least. If you need more time, you need more time. All right. So now we need to translate. So let's take a look at these translations exercises on page 10. What I'd like you to do first is, now remember what these endings mean. First person singular is I. Second person singular is you. Third person singular is he, she, or it. First person plural ending means we. Second person plural y'all. Third person plural they. So luo means I loose. Liusin means they loose. Liamen means we loose. So what does age mean? Well, ago, I look at my vocabulary, I see that means lead, I lead, but it's got this third person singular ending. So that's he leads or she leads. What's blepusin? Well, it's got that usin ending, it's third plural, so it's they. And I see that blepo means see, so it's they see. Leges, that ace ending, is second person singular, you lead. Pisteo, first person singular, I lead. We can combine verbs sometimes like this. Theleta again, second person plural, eta, right? And thelo, I see in my vocabulary list, means wish. So y'all wish, you plural wish. Y'all wish again. My ain ending is my infinitive, which in English is just to loose. So again is to lead. Y'all wish to lead. Okay, so I want you to, you're going to pause the video now, and you are going to work on sentences 3 through 8. And you're going to write out your translation to sentences 3 through 8. And then you're going to start the tape again, and correct them. So what I would like to see, and for one of your assignments, I'll probably have you snap a picture of your translation assignments. You should double space your assignments, double space your translations. You write in pencil, come back and correct them in pen based on what I have, and make sure you understand them. And at least for the first couple weeks, I'll have you take a picture when you're done and email it to me so I can check and see how that's coming together. So work on those. You might want to just work on one or two and then come back for the answers, and then work on two more, come back for the answers, and that's the major part of the homework for this week. So go ahead and work on that now. Pause the tape, come back, here we go. So, number 3. Melamen heriskein kai pistewein. Melamen, first person plural. We are about to, heriskein, that's the infinitive, to find, kai, and pistewein, to believe. We are about to find and believe. Number 4. Again, don't cheat. If you haven't done number 4, if you don't have number 4 written out, pause it, work on it, write it out, then come back and get the correct answer. Akues kai blepe kai legusin kai lambanata. And maybe I should type these out for you. So akues, you hear, and he sees, and they speak, legusin, and y'all lambanata, y'all receive. And I would like you just use y'all for now. I know it's kind of silly, but I want to know that you know it's you plural. So just keep doing that. 5, again, don't cheat. So eche, he has, and gnoskomen, we know. 6. Thelamen, we wish. We wish to what? Pisteioen, we wish to believe, kai, and to know. Oh, but now I see it's got a question mark at the end. So we'll correct our English a little bit. Do we wish to believe and know? That's how we make a question in English. Melo heloriskein kai ekein, number 7. I am about to heloriskein, to find and to have, ekein. And 8. Thele blepein kai melata akuein kai pisteoein. He wishes, third person singular, he wishes to see, that's our infinitive, and y'all are about to, melata, to what? To hear, kai, and to believe. You're about to hear and to believe. Pisteoein. Okay. I'm not going to have you do the B section. I'm not going to have you do the translate into Greek. There'll come a time when we'll do a little bit more of that, but really like you to focus on spending your time studying your flashcards and working on your Greek to English translations. That should fill up your time. So that does it for Lesson 2. We'll have a quiz now after Lesson 2, so study those flashcards, and you will be ready to go, and just check the dates, check the assignments online, and find the date that the quiz is due.